So basically, I'm retruded. My upper and lower jaws are retruded. I'm looking to advance my mandible. My B point is retruded. This is the B point. My B point is retruded about 12.5 millimeters. And the way we're going to do this, the maxilla is like the workhorse of the procedure. The anterior nasal spine is coming forward, and the posterior nasal spine is coming forward 7. The anterior nasal spine is coming down 4, and the posterior nasal spine is coming down 12. What that's going to do, it's going to allow advancement of the mandible to come forward, not the chin. The chin is actually coming back. The chin's in an unnatural position. I have a short face. I'm looking to get a little more tooth show. I'm anticipating my pagonian to come forward 16 millimeters. My upper midline incisor, I'm anticipating to come forward 13 millimeters. With the counterclockwise rotation, we're going to harvest bone from my iliac crest to fill in that 12 millimeter gap at the posterior nasal spine. I'm just trying to think. My upper molar, I forgot the specs on that, but yeah, I mean, the maxilla, when you move the maxilla forward, when you free up the BSSO, you do the BSSO cut first, that frees it up. And then the maxilla is the workhorse. Wherever the maxilla does, the mandible follows. So that's the maxilla, it controls everything, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So the maxilla is the workhorse of the procedure, and I'm looking just, not just the chin, but the whole face to come forward.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
That is an incredible introduction. Thank you so much. It's generally a role reversal of sorts. Rarely do we get patients who are so well informed, who are so well read, and they're aware of their problems completely, not on a platonic level. He has done his research, he knows the measurements well, and as he described, all the figures that he has told has been after a lot of research. So post a lot of research, post a lot of analysis, he has come to the conclusion that these will be the particular movements that will be apt for him. It will give his face the desired changes.
I'm getting downgrafting of my chin too. I'm getting 4.5 or 5 millimeters downgrafting of my genioplasty. I had a previous genioplasty a year and a half ago. And this is actually kind of a stage 2 genioplasty. I gained about 8 millimeters of downgrafting before. We're going to gain another 5 millimeters vertical on the genioplasty. I think the vertical of the chin, the lower third, it gives a masculine look. I'm looking to increase the masculinity of my face.
Right. So as he rightly mentioned, it is going to be a revision genioplasty. We can have seen the scan. Dr. Richardson has explained that the implants placed at the genium, that is the mentum region, which is the chin. Also, there are implants placed along the malar region for him. Yes. Apart from what is the surgical planning and what he has come for, I would also like you to have a discussion with the viewers out there, because there are millions of people who are watching you. How has been your journey to Richardson, sir, so far? If you would sum it up, right moments before the surgery.
I think it's been an experience of a lifetime. I'm glad I came here. I'm glad I did it. I've never been to India before.
This is the first time ever?
Yes.
Okay.
I think a lot of Americans are probably scared to come to India. But to me, seeing the videos on YouTube, seeing the intraoperative videos of Sunil Richardson doing the surgery, it instills confidence in his ability.
Right.
And a lot of surgeons, they're scared, they're very shy and timid, to showcase their work, they don't want anything. I see maxillofacial surgeons, no pictures on the website, no before and after. That does not instill confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Rightly said, the presentation matters, the outreach is important, and he rightly pointed out. How did you happen to contact Dr. Richardson? I know now the world is digital, it's becoming shorter and smaller, but still, given that you literally stay continents apart, how did you manage to contact Dr. Richardson?
Like he says, WhatsApp.
Okay, so that's been a virtual connect, and then you flew down to the country and the state.
Yeah, I flew to Doha,
Okay.
and then Trivandrum,
Okay.
and then took an Uber.
Okay. Okay. How has been your discussion, your pre-operative discussion with Dr. Richardson?
Good.
Like, did it pan out well the way you thought? He gave you his inputs, you gave some of yours?
You see, I actually consulted many maxillofacial surgeons before coming to him during a year or so of research. And I did consult with another surgeon. He gave me a really good plan actually, but for whatever reason he didn't follow up with me. So I had the good plan in hand, and I just needed someone to execute the plan.
Right, yes. He's being very honest in telling that, because the time he met Dr. Richardson, he had a plan in his hand, literally a plan. There were all the figures down there. The movements, surgical movements were all anticipated, marked and written down. It was just that he needed somebody, some surgeon, truly of his merit and capability to execute that. And he's literally roamed all over continents if I may say, searching for somebody to execute the plan for him.
And another reason I chose Sunil Richardson is a lot of surgeons in the U.S., they're scared of the plan, to be honest with you. They're scared of the 12 millimeter downgraft. They say it's not stable. They say it's risky. And it's just, I believe in shooting for the stars. Like, okay, that's the plan that gives me the best outcome. Why would I spend all this money on a mediocre plan? You know, I want
True.
the best plan. I want to go into the surgery with the best plan.
True.
I mean, you need to have the best plan, and then you need someone to execute the plan.
Right.
So I feel I have a good plan. So that's good.
Okay. Also, how has been the change in the sense, yes, it's a surgical outing, so as to say, for you, but it's a new place, it's a new food, new people. It's been so far so good. May I say that?
I enjoyed it. I did some walking around. I tried some Indian street food, and it's been kind of an adventure. I liked it. I wish I could have done more touring,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yes, pre-surgery, it's all that you could manage, and then there's a surgery happening. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, being so articulate, sharing your viewpoint, because that's important for us and for the people on the other side. So he's come here, as you can say, very well briefed, well read, articulate about what his plans are. It's sort of the right surgeon meeting the right patient, and vice versa. Dr. Richardson has had a detailed discussion, a thorough examination. The scans have been explained. He saw all your figures, and we're just about to start the procedure for him. So it's live minutes before his actual surgery.
And it's kind of interesting because it seems like a lot of surgeons, they do not like an informed patient. It seems like maybe they don't like me because I know too much. I don't know.
Don't worry, sir. Don't worry.
Okay.
You're completely right on your part to be well aware. That's a patient's right. So you're completely right on your part. Okay. And rarely we get such patients. So we are treasured that way. Such patients. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.